again today, friends. We are going to do super easy and delicious big batch slow cooker dinners. We are going to get started on night one right now. So on this very first night, we are doing slow cooker beef tips and gravy. I have some beef there. We have both of our cast iron pans ready to go and the slow cooker's ready to go. And I am going to chop up an onion and we are going to chop up this meat and get going. And so we got the onion chopped up now, and now we are going to work on cutting the meat into bite-sized pieces, and then we will be browning the meat, all the meat pieces, in the big cast iron skillet in some olive oil. It does not have to be cooked all the way through, but it is nice to brown it on both sides as much as possible, and then get it in the slow cooker to finish cooking the rest of the way. Remember, these are big batch slow cooker meals, so my family will get several meals out of that, and I know your family will too. Well, friends, my super mega massive big batch cooking extravaganza bundle is here, and it is also heading out the door. So click the first link in the description below to get up to 90% off all the sanity saving big batch meal guides in my large family table shop. These include big batch freezer meals, sheet pan meals, electric pressure cooker meal plans, slow cooker meal plans, even my salads in jars guide, easy skillet dinners, frugal baking, holiday meals, and so much more. You'll be among some of the first to receive my gorgeous newly redesigned and updated big batch freezer meal guides 1 through 24 and mega and lots more big batch cooking guides to help you make the most delicious meals for all your people. Plus, there's big batch cooking guides to help you prepare crowd-pleasing meals for special diets, such as low-carb, sugar-free, gluten-free, and dairy-free. And as a free special bonus of $44.97 value, when you buy my biggest 65-plus Big Batch Cooking Guide bundle, you'll also receive the newest Big Batch Holiday Guides as well. The Make Ahead Holiday Big Batch Triple Bundle includes Make Ahead Holiday Breakfast Guide 1, Make Ahead Holiday Meals Guide 2, and Make Ahead and Freeze Holiday Cookies Guide 2. The super mega massive big batch cooking extravaganza bundle plus the free special bonus Make Ahead Holiday bundle is over 2,000 pages. If you're looking for all of my popular mealtime sanity saving meal guides in one place, they are here. There are over 1,000 fantastic reviews over in the large family table shop. You can read those when you click through the first link in the description below. And Marie says the holiday meal guides were super helpful for feeding my people and kids at my mother-in-law's house. She has 10 grandchildren living with her along with 4 to 5 other family members, and they loved the mega meals. Thank you so much. Tara says, J. Morell is so inspiring. The trial and error, practicality, care, and thought that she has put into these resources is incredible. I have a small family, so I just have the recipes or make the full amount and just freeze more. I also love the planning and organizing support she gives for homeschool and home life in general. She is so empowering. Thank you, Tara. Michelle says, I absolutely love this bundle. It is full of delicious meals, easy to follow recipes, and no brain use grocery list. I filled my freezer Saturday, and I have never had anything go so smoothly and fast. Thanks, J. Morell. Your packs are very thought out and family friendly. Every household should have all of your packs. So don't forget, friends, to click the first link in the description below because this sale is going down in just a few days. I've given it some extra time because my video production is slow and steady around here, and my videos are the main way I communicate with so many of you. So click the first link in the description below and get the Big Batch Cooking Extravaganza Bundle sale now for up to 90% off. And now I'm taking the batches of meat out of the big cast iron skillet and I am getting it in my slow cooker crock, and we will continue on with the next components of this big batch slow cooker dinners. So for this slow cooker beef tips and gravy, of course you'll need a little olive oil for your cooking pan and also a 3-pound beef roast with the appropriate amount of fat trimmed off and cut into bite-sized pieces. You'll also want a little salt and pepper per your family's personal preference, and a diced onion. Now in my 4-week big batch slow cooker dinners and meal plan quick and easy volume 4 that I'm cooking out of, the recipe that I'm using calls for 2 packets of brown gravy mix. You can also make your own homemade gravy, which we'll go through here in this video. So as you've seen, I've browned the beef in batches, just adding oil as needed. And the beef does not need to be cooked thoroughly. At this point, you transfer the meat to the slow cooker. And then in the same skillet with the remaining oil, I'm going to saute the onions, and then we'll transfer those onions to the slow cooker as well. But just saying, it does a mama's heart good to hear them say, boy, that smells good. What are you cooking? Of course, I'm sauteing onions, and you're right. So when we get to making this homemade gravy, I have a recipe up over my blog for make ahead gravy that you can freeze. Of course, I have freezed all kinds of gravy, but that recipe will be linked below. Like you know, gravy goes with nearly everything. Mashed potatoes, stuffing, chicken, turkey, all the things. We are going to use this gravy with these beef tips, and I'm going to serve them over rice. You can also serve them other things such as noodles, whatever your family would like. We will need 2 sticks of butter, a cup of flour, some onion powder, salt, black pepper, and also 8 cups of broth. Alright, so now we are going to get our butter going in the big cast iron pan, and we will melt that down and go from there. And now that we have that butter melted down, I am getting my flour in the pan and some seasonings and salt and pepper, and I'm going to whisk that around very nice, and then we will begin adding in our broth. And at this point, it's a matter of whisking and whisking and whisking and not stop. Do not stop whisking, whatever you do. And then we just continue whisking our boatload of gravy. And at this point, we're almost there. And then when I get making gravy like this, I will push it a little bit, maybe add a little more flour, a little more broth, but we will have plenty of gravy here. And I just hit it with a little bit more pepper there. It was hard for me to get the appropriate amount of salt and pepper out of my little shakers earlier, so just mental note, I was like, okay, I'll hit it with some more here once I get the gravy made. And we did. And now my plan is I am going to bring over the big cast iron pan of gravy, bring it over to the slow cooker. Oh, we can almost do it. There we go. but I knew I would need to set that pan down, and there we go. Nice planning, plan ahead. And now we're going to stir it all up. It's probably a little heavy on the gravy, but that's okay because we're having it over something, and most folks here like gravy. And I'm going to do some wild rice for us to eat the beef tips and gravy on top of. So I'm putting in 2 cups of wild rice and 4 cups of broth. And I'm going to put that lid on and just hit the rice button on my Instant Pot, and that will be done as well. And here we are in the future with our cooked wild rice ready to go. The nice thing is when it's done with the rice, it'll keep it warm. And then our cooked through, this is several hours in the future, our cooked through beef tips and gravy going on top. Serve it with steamed vegetables, hot rolls, any sides you would like. Hey, some sourdough, yes, do that.
Well, friends, I am back for our second recipe in this 5 nights of slow cooker dinners video extravaganza that we are doing. And tonight we are going to make a lovely beef and barley stew. And as I shared, I am using my quick and easy slow cooker meal plan. This is guide 4, and these are all big batch delicious recipes. So even if you're not feeding half a dozen or multiple dozens of people, you can get extras for your freezer if you like. And I'm doing week 1 on the slow cooker meal plan. I had to order my barley. It's not the quick cooking barley, and I couldn't get it locally. So Amazon brought me some Bob's Red Mill, and that was great. And so technically night 1, but I'm sharing this just to show you how easy it is to mix up this meal plan and make it work for you. Supposed to be the slow cooker beef and barley stew on night 1. But we have it nice and linked there, so you can click on it, takes you to the recipe and the page number. But since I didn't have that barley, I did night 2, which was the slow cooker beef tips and gravy that we did first. Tonight, we're doing the beef and barley stew. We will also be doing a low carb slow cooker beef taco casserole, which you can swing a lot of different ways. And then also another low carb flair of chicken and green beans casserole. Lots of different options. Not all of these recipes are low carb, so you can definitely swing them and make them work for you. So let's get cooking.
Welcome back again today, friends. Oh boy, as we like to say around here, look at us, we're doing it. I have another week of slow cooker dinners for you. These are big batch slow cooker dinners because that's how we do things around here. By the way, my name is J. Morrell. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I am the internet queen of big batch cooking, that's for sure, and all things, all the food. And so on this week, I am doing 4 different nights of big batch slow cooker dinners. These are all super easy dinners. And what's wonderful about them is since they are big batch style, you can actually get many more meals out of them. I feed a whole lot of folks every day, and we usually get 1 to 2 dinners plus some lunch leftovers with most of these slow cooker dinners. So even though it's 4 different recipes, you're looking at 8 to 10 meals easy. And if you have extra portions left over as well, maybe you are a smaller household, that's okay. You can get dinners ahead in the freezer. Look at us. And what I'm doing here is I'm getting my big Lodge cast iron pan going on my gas stove, putting a little olive oil in there, and we are going to just brown this beef before we get it in the slow cooker. It gives it a nice texture. I'm also cutting off any additional pieces of fat and slicing it down. We do have other ingredients on the counter there in front of me that I will go through, and as I say, this is an absolutely delicious beef and barley stew. And so this week's worth of big batch slow cooker dinners is from my slow cooker dinners and 4-week meal plan. It's the Quick and Easy Volume 4. And this week I am doing 4 of the recipes from week 1. As I say, these are all wonderful big batch meals that carry lots of leftovers even for my crew. And we got several meals out of each. So many of these could be stretched over potentially 10 days if you needed them. However you want to make it work for you. That's the wonderful flexibility of the pack. Also, friends, my super mega massive big batch cooking extravaganza bundle sale is coming to an end. You know my videos are slow and steady around here, so I wanted to give you one last opportunity to click the first link in the description below, head over to shop.largefamilytable.com, and get my big batch cooking bundle for up to 90% off. You also get my 3 make-ahead holiday meal guides as a free special bonus when you purchase the biggest bundle. Those are over a $44 value and they are free for a limited time. This sale is ending here in just a few days. So again, this is the last opportunity I have in video form to remind you that now's your chance to click that first link in the description below and save over 90% off with my big batch cooking bundle sale. Yay!
Okay, so I just added those 2 chopped up onions on top of a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of the slow cooker. This is my new 10-quart slow cooker because, you know what, after all these years, my crock finally cracked on my last one, but it does good. It's time for a fresh one. And yes, I know that I am doing this big batch slow cooker cooking in my kitchen with a hat on my head and a jean jacket. It is winter here in Virginia and we are having 20-degree days. Now on this day we didn't have any snow, but it was cold. But I also wanted to wear one of my favorite dresses that was short sleeve. So, you know, girl trouble. So I just paired it with a jean jacket and there we go. That's how things work around here. And the hat, once I wear one, it is definitely an all-day commitment. So happy winter dressing in layers.
So the very first recipe that we're doing is the slow cooker beef and barley stew. We have about 5 pounds of a boneless beef chuck roast cut into pieces. Of course, you just add salt and pepper per your family preference. It is 1 16-ounce package of mushrooms that are washed and sliced, about a pound of baby carrots, 4 golden potatoes peeled and cut into about 1-inch pieces, whatever size chunks you and your family would like, 2 large yellow onions that are diced, about 8 cups or so of beef broth. You can, of course, use home canned broth, and you can use low sodium options. There's 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste, about 2.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme. Towards the end, once we get everything in the slow cooker, we have about 2 cups of pearl barley, not the quick cooking thyme, and I also like to throw 2 bay leaves in there as it cooks. And so in our large cast iron skillet with about a tablespoon of olive oil, I am heating that up, and then we add the beef in batches. We brown it on all sides. Then we're going to transfer that beef to the slow cooker and continue cooking. Just cook through the batches depending on the size of your pan, adding more until it's all brown. In the slow cooker then, we're going to add our mushrooms, our carrots, our garlic, our potatoes, our onions, our beef broth, tomato paste, thyme, all in, and then we just stir well to distribute evenly. And then, very last, we add the barley and the bay leaves. I washed my barley first, and then we cover the slow cooker and cook on low for about 6 to 8 hours. Okay, so here's how everything is looking in the slow cooker, and I just put my 2 cups of washed pearl barley in my crock pot. This is the maiden voyage of the fresh 10 quart. I get about 4 or 5 years, I feel like, out of a slow cooker, and actually this is not the crock pot brand, it's a Hamilton Beach. I had my first 10 quart one over at the Forest House way back in the olden days. Got several years out of that one. Then I had another one here at this current house. So this is my third 10 quart, but most of the time when I do slow cooker dinners, I do use my 10 quart, and so it gets multiple uses throughout the week. Now I am using some great value beef broth for this stew. It all works out lovely. The tomato paste really helps the flavor as well. And I am just squeezing out the last little bits of broth, and it is making inappropriate noises that would make teen boys giggle if they heard them as I'm squeezing the last of that broth out. But that's okay. We're getting it done. Now we're going to throw those few bay leaves in there. And this would be so delicious with some fresh hot sourdough bread once it's done. Now we are just stirring everything together well. I am going to wipe up my little bit of, yep, there we go, little bit of tomato paste mess there, because that will just heat up on the crock as well and be another mess to deal with. So we'll get everything nice and stirred and wiped up. Putting on the lid. Next important step, yes, remember to turn your slow cooker on, right? And remember, it's plugged in. Ask me how I know these things. I've been there, done that, have forgot to either turn it on the right temperature or plug it in. But here we are. Now on this evening, you might be able to tell by my shirt sleeve there, I had gone on a nice long run. It is many hours later, and look at how delicious this has turned out. So good. And like I say, hot sourdough along with it. Yes, please. I'm going to remove the bay leaves, but it is so good and nutritious and delicious. So I'm just going to scoop some out in a bowl here and show you how everything worked out. And now tonight we have another big batch slow cooker meal where we are making some delicious taco casserole in the slow cooker. Now that's a fancy way to say it. You can swing this taco casserole a lot of different ways. You can keep it low carb and have it with lettuce and maybe some of those like Quest protein chips. There's a lot of different options. Make a taco salad. My family ends up, my teenagers and all the folks that are here use this taco casserole as basically fancy taco meat, and they will do burritos with it and taco salads and hard shell tacos, soft shell tacos, all the things. But this is a fun variation that you can do. And oh, I got a kitty in the window there looking at me. And so the first thing we're going to do is get the onions chopped. We also have some peppers that will need chopped. So with the big batch slow cooker beef taco casserole, it's about 4.5 pounds of ground beef. There's also a 1.5 cups of water and 1 cup of taco seasoning, about 2 large green bell peppers. Now, of course, it's whatever peppers you have on hand. And then I like to throw 1 yellow or orange pepper in there, sliced and diced. Also dice up an onion. It is 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, preferably with green chilies that's drained. Also 1 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. We add that in later. It's just a natural thickener. And then about 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese or other cheese blend that you have available. Serving ideas are iceberg lettuce that can be shredded, Roma tomatoes. Also, you can top with some fresh and chopped cilantro, sliced black olives. You could serve some avocado on the side, sour cream, lots of ways you can fix it up. I also like to have mine in those low-carb mission wraps. So in a large skillet, we're going to brown the ground beef and the onion. We're going to then drain the meat and return the beef to the skillet. Then we will add in our water and our taco seasoning. We bring that water to a boil, and you can adjust and reduce the heat to medium-low. You just allow it to simmer for a few minutes while the water evaporates it. You do have to keep an eye on it. Once it's done cooking, we're going to transfer the taco meat to the slow cooker. We then stir in our peppers, our diced tomatoes, and our xanthan gum, and we mix well. We stir the casserole. Then we cover the slow cooker and cook on low for about 4 hours or so. Again, you can eyeball that. Towards the end, you will stir the casserole again and top with shredded cheese. You just put the lid on it for a few minutes to melt the cheese nicely. And again, you can top your individual portions of the taco casserole with shredded lettuce, tomatoes, cilantro, black olives, avocados, lettuce, taco shells, any way you want to serve it up to feed your family. Now, what's also nice with our big batch slow cooker pack is that it is 4 weeks of dinners. There is a whole 4-week grocery list to get everything you need from the get-go to do the 4 weeks of dinners. And of course, you could safely stretch this meal plan, 6 weeks or more with the leftovers and the portions and the amounts that you can get in the freezer as well. What I did for this particular meal plan is I pulled up my week 1 grocery list, and whatever I did not already have in my pantry, refrigerators, or freezers, I just filled in with a little Walmart grocery pickup order. I ended up spending, I believe, about $54 or so for little odds and ends that I needed. So I didn't need to actually purchase everything. on the list exactly from the beginning. But if you want to do this 4-week meal plan week by week, you can just fill in what you need in a little pickup order, or you could do the whole 4 weeks at a time. And again, it's a great way, just like the beef and barley soup you already saw, or even this slow cooker taco casserole. You can freeze what is left once your family is done. If they've had it, twice and they don't want to look at it anymore, just put the rest of the beef and barley soup in the freezer, and there will be a time in the coming weeks shortly when you will be so thankful to pull that out, have it again, just heat it up, and then there you go. Your future self will thank you. And so here I am getting ready to do my meat drainer. I had to wash out a colander, and then I put my colander in a metal mixing bowl, and then I pour my meat into that, and that catches the grease for me. And then from there, we will keep on moving on to the next steps. And instead of carrying the hot pan over to my sink, sometimes I will do that. But in this instance, I just did everything right there by my pan, and it worked out great because then I could sift it's just a very, very little bit of fat, really, because this is grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and it just doesn't, it's very lean naturally. So I still go through the process though and scoop it out. And then also, if you notice the white walls and the crown molding that's not painted in the back, and the few last things that really needed to be done to button up this kitchen, I can report from the future that my contractors came back recently. They finished the crown molding, they did a bunch of caulking, they got a fresh paint color on the wall. It's very light, but it's a nice Sherwin-Williams color called sea salt. I've been going back and forth with agreeable gray and sea salt. So the kitchen in the future now is sea salt, and I can't wait for you to see it. But that has been something that has needed to be done, and I am glad that we finally got the last few things finished up. Oh, and the windowsills are in also. Not in this video, but again, from the future, the projects are getting buttoned up, and it's exciting. And now I'm just adding in the taco seasoning that I had got from Azure Standard and the water, and we are going to mix that up well and let it cook down in the pan and simmer some. So we are almost done with this recipe. But I had some quandaries on what color to paint this kitchen. I do like the white, the white, the white. And of course, us living here, we have been getting to know these cabinets. They have actually held up very well. I usually wipe them down every day or every other day, at least the lower ones, but they have held up well. I'm so thrilled with how wonderful this backsplash is, and the tile behind the stove. All of that has been perfect. The actual white walls, I knew from the beginning I didn't want to stick with white, but I also didn't want to do a bold color. I had thought about agreeable gray, or even just, I think there's a white called alabaster I've heard about, or maybe like a creamy white. So I thought through everything, but I thought, well, sea salt was light enough that it's not overpowering, and they used a good quality Sherwin-Williams paint. It's a semi-gloss, so everything wipes well with it and gives me that little touch of color. So I am very happy with it. And as I say, I can't wait for another upcoming video when you guys will get to see the finished results. But in this video, I see over my head there, you can see where the crown molding is not even finished yet. But that really was a nice buttoning up touch to get that done. All I'm doing here is wiping my vegetable scraps onto a little plate to get them off the counter. And now we're just putting our delicious meat into the slow cooker along with the other ingredients, and we will let it cook low and slow for several hours until it is time for dinner. And of course, there are many slow cooker recipes where you can just dump and go and you don't have to do any little prep. But then again, there's recipes you do some prep for and they turn out delicious as well. You just have to plan your days accordingly. Many times, especially back in my farmhouse life, I would do a lot of dump and go slow cooker meals where I'd put my meal in the morning and by dinner time it was done. Many times these days I may not get to it until early afternoon, but as long as there's a couple hours, it all works out in the end. Now we're adding in our diced tomatoes. Again, friends, remember, plug in those slow cookers. There we go. Got it on low. Got it plugged in. We're doing it. Put the lid on. See you again in a few hours to top with cheese. And there we go. And then, not included in this recipe directions, but you know my secret for stretching meat for big batch tacos is to also add a variety of beans in there, whatever already cooked canned beans you have. So if you needed to stretch this recipe farther, you could get some pinto beans and some northern beans and some black beans and drain them and also stir them into this recipe as well. But there we go. That's what my mama bowl looks like with this slow cooker taco casserole. And as I say, my folks ate this in a variety of ways and loved it. Scraped it up, none was left. And good evening, friends. We have our last delicious low carb big batch dinner, and I'm showing you the little bandage on my face because, okay, we've got to have a face update. Many of you all have known for years that I've had this little red spot on my cheek because many of you told me to go to the dermatologist and have it checked out. I did have it checked out over a year ago, and this goes along with slow cooker dinners at some point, and it checked out just fine. It was just some broken blood vessels, more of a cosmetic thing. So as my gift to myself in 2024, my family doctor has been doing some laser treatments on it, which actually makes it more angry looking for a few weeks, and then it fades out more. So I had had a good treatment a few days before I filmed this recipe, and I was still wearing just a little band-aid on it because I know if I don't tell you, you'll worry if you see a bandage on my face. So there you go. That's why. Now we know. So on this evening, we are making a delicious low-carb variation slow cooker dinner. This is a low-carb slow cooker chicken and green beans casserole. It uses 2 12-ounce packages of frozen green beans, about 10 cups of cooked boneless, skinless chicken breast, shredded. In reality, use whatever chicken you have available. This is just, I give people a basic direction. Also, we use a cup of water, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, teaspoon of salt, also some pepper, 3 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, a cup of heavy cream, a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 cup of shredded mozzarella, and then you can top it with half a cup of toasted sliced almonds for something different if you would like. So we're going to toss together the chicken and the green beans in the slow cooker. And then we're going to mix together our water, our garlic powder, our salt and pepper, and we're going to pour over the chicken and the green beans. Then we're going to do the dollops of cream cheese over the mixture, and we're going to cover the slow cooker and cook on low for about 3 to 4 hours. When the cooking time is done, we will then mix the green beans and chicken and cream cheese until the cream cheese is thoroughly blended. Then we add in our heavy cream and our Parmesan and we stir together. And then you can again sprinkle with mozzarella and the sliced almonds if you would like to feel fancy. And you just cover the slow cooker lid until the cheese melts. And don't forget, friends, to click the first link in the description below to save up to 90% off my Big Batch Cooking Extravaganza sale. It not only has my way over 20 big batch freezer meal cooking guides, which guide you to cook anywhere from 10 to 40 freezer meals, which are actually many more meals depending on the size of your family. When you get so many additional portions, you get those, but you also get all of my 4-week slow cooker meal plans. I also have several 3-week electric pressure cooker meal plans that have the full 4-week grocery list and also broken down weekly. So again, however it works for you. Additionally, I have sheet pan cooking guides. I also have, it's just so many, I have many frugal baking guides. There's also skillet dinner guides. I do hope to do some videos coming up doing some big batch skillet dinners as well. Just getting all my different little ingredients that I need here for this dinner. But anyway, click that first link in the description below. I am bringing this sale to an end. Thank you for dealing with me. I am continuing to get videos out. So again, I'm proud of us over here. But when I need to communicate with you in video form, I know there's a gap. You know, there could be one video in 7 days and then another video. My hopes and dreams for 2024 is to consistently get to 2 to 3 videos a week again. But right now, with life and voiceovers and sponsors and different working mama things that I juggle, sometimes there's an extra gap. So that's why I've given some extra time for this sale, but I am wrapping it up now. So be sure to click the first link in the description below and save the up to 90% off in the Big Batch Cooking Bundle, where you get so many big batch cooking guides, plus my 3 free over $44 value holiday cooking guides, which help you make ahead and freeze and prepare for upcoming holidays and events as well.